Welcome everyone. Sean, good to see you on. Good to see Sean in person and Sean ran on the Zoom. That's kind of weird. We'll go ahead and get started with Caleb.
The obvious question: how does it feel to get the hat trick today?
I mean, you definitely can't complain, but it was great to get that early goal. I think then momentum obviously swung our way, and we were able to kind of capitalize on those other opportunities. Honestly, it should have probably been more goals, but it was good to see us seeing the benefits of the finishing we've been practicing daily. So we're seeing the benefits now, and it's good. Yeah, we had 3 goals. We had a clean sheet, so that's what we're striving for, right?
I'm guessing that wasn't your first hat trick as a professional. How long has it been since you last had 3 goals?
Yeah, it's been a little while, but it's not my first one. But yeah, it's been maybe a year or 2. So
and then what was going well tonight offensively for you guys that you felt like you could have even had more than 3?
I think we were finding Allie very well in those channels, and she was able to open up the game for us, and we've had quite a few chances because of that. But yeah, when you get players like Mina and Allie in those pockets, it definitely draws a lot of attention, and it opens up holes for other players like myself, like Brecken. It was great to see what she put out there today too, because she hasn't played in a while. So yeah, everyone that came in today did a good job.
I don't know if you know this, but that was the first hat trick for the NWSL this year.
They told me at the halftime show.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So face of the league this week for sure.
We'll see.
I think you can guarantee it. Did Seattle do anything that surprised you guys out there tonight or that made it more difficult for you?
I think we were fortunate that we were able to get that early on goal, and then they got that red card. So we know that when these things happen, we have to have this mentality that's when we capitalize, that's when we kill the game. And I think we were able to do that, being able to get that 3rd goal right before the first half ended. It definitely took the wind out of their sails, so we were happy to be able to do that.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Big picture wise, kind of the run that this team is on right now, just what's clicking so well, what's kind of changed? I mean, it's sort of do or die time, I guess, down the stretch of the regular season. So is that kind of the mentality that this team is taking, or?
Yeah, I think as soon as I arrived here, I had a conversation with the staff, and they told me that at the beginning stages of this league, this team was only participating, but we want to be competitors. We want to be winners. This team wants to bring titles here. I mean, we have fantastic fans. We have a fantastic staff, fantastic facilities. We have everything to be champions. So I think it's about we have a lot of young talent on this team, so it's about mixing the experience and the young talent together and being able to build off of what we've done these last few weeks, and hopefully next season carry that through. And yeah, I think we're going to have momentum swinging our way.
Obviously, results aside, and this I think still has nothing to do with actual results, but do you see kind of that winning mentality developing in a lot of those young players, some of the rookies, and even just players who have kind of barely been professional for 2-3 years?
I think the thing is, when you get the taste of winning, it's hard to not want that. And I think this club is finally getting that taste, and now you're seeing that. And look at the games we've just played. The last 3 games, we're winning games. Now we're not just winning them, we're dominating them possession-wise, shooting-wise. The stats are swinging our way, and that doesn't just happen, right? And that's how you build champions. It's those types of skill sets. Those are the things that you see in training daily. It's just that's what we want to build off of, and that's what we want to carry forward the next game, the next season, whatever it may be. We want to bring titles here.
Sean Wren, anything from the Zoom?
Heck yeah. Chloe, congratulations on a momentous afternoon. That was fun.
Thank you.
Hey, for those playing along, the interwebs tell me that it was only a year ago in October with Benfica that you scored a hat trick. Does that seem about right?
I mean, yeah, we're going to go with that.
Okay, let's go with it. So I need to know, does this one feel as good as the first that you ever scored, whether you were 5 years old on the pitch? How does it feel?
I mean, I don't think anyone can ever be unhappy when they score a hat trick, so I think they're always a little bit special. I have to go find the ball, though I haven't received that yet.
We're working on it, Chloe, don't worry.
Okay. We're working on getting the ball. But yeah, no, it was a special day, and I'm happy to have gotten it here. I think the team was incredible from the first minute, and that's something we wanted to improve at, is being the team that, kind of gets that goal from the start rather than the opponent, so it was good to see. But yeah, clean sheet, 3 goals. We're happy tonight.
So next serious, unserious question. Did you love the supporters chant for you at Arsenal, and is it time for us to come up with one here in Utah?
Hey, I'm always open to creativity. The chant at Arsenal was definitely it's definitely a winner as well. I think that's carried over internationally. So whatever it is, if it makes them happy, I let them, do their thing, and I'm happy if they're happy.
Well, if you want any creative input, let us know. But let's get one serious question in here for me. So the first goal was just a scrappy goal with you playing tight, everybody going crazy in front of the goal line. But that second goal, I think, was more indicative of the entire squad's first half play, where you won the ball by putting yourself in front of the Seattle defender. You won it, beautiful strike. Can you just talk about that goal, and then also just kind of how the team did execute that first half on just incredible high press, great pressure, touch tight defense, just from Mandy on up, everybody was just playing, it looked like, on all cylinders.
Yeah, I think for us right now, it's just continuing to build on those partnerships and being able to work off one another. Today, we were able to find so many pockets because of Ali, because of Mina showing in those channels, and it opened up the wings for myself, for Brecken, for Cameron in the second half. So I think, yeah, it's just about building that chemistry and continuing on those partnerships and being able to be aware of what one another brings to the table.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're back with Mandy. Caleb's got the mic. We're going to go ahead and get started with him.
We were just joking that you and Chloe have to fight over the game ball because you got the clean sheet, but she got the hat trick. What did it take to get that clean sheet for you guys today?
Just working on the details, and we've been saying brilliant basics, so we're just doing all the simple things right. Trying to stay as clean as we can, building out of the back, not giving them any opportunities to counter us. So it was really a team effort to get the clean sheet for sure.
Second half, they gave you a little more pressure. There was that almost penalty that happened. What did you see there? And then kind of in general, what were they doing to get a little more pressure there on you guys in the second
I
half?
don't really see what's going on in the man marking area. I'm usually looking at the ball. So undetermined what happened, but I'm happy he went to VAR and called it back. It's unfortunate, we play so well, and then maybe a potential PK, but yeah, happy to get that called back so we can keep a clean sheet for sure.
And then in general for you guys, 3 wins in a row. What's going well overall, and how do you guys keep this going?
Just our cohesion is really coming together, and we're figuring out how to get behind opposition and create some really high scoring goal chances. This team is just putting their head down, going to work every single day. We're implementing Jimmy's game plan game after game, and super happy we're keeping the playoff dream alive.
Areas of focus for Angel City next week?
I think our areas of focus is just focusing on ourselves. The thing in the locker room at halftime was it's us versus us now. How can we beat how we were in the first half? And I think with that mindset, we can take on anyone.
And so many times we've seen a team go down, a man or a woman in this case, and then suddenly they get stronger and start creating more chances. Chloe was in here a few minutes ago talking about how you collectively wanted to kill off the game. How do you keep that message going strong in a game where a lot of times people tend to take their foot off the gas?
For sure, I think we all saw it as an opportunity and got hungrier once someone got out with a red card, and we were 2 up in the first half, and that's a dangerous lead. And we knew going into half we needed to solidify another goal. We needed to hammer it home just a little bit and have them feeling bad going in at halftime. And I'm super excited for Chloe getting that brace. And it was excellent to have that mindset shift of like man down, but keep your foot on the gas.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Big picture-wise, Mandy, you've been here since the beginning. What's different about this team right now as you kind of chase a playoff spot, I guess?
Like I touched on earlier, the cohesion is much better. We're all on the same page, and Jimmy has given us a great structure to lean back on, and great game plans going into the weekend. So we feel so much more prepared, and we are really just wanting the best for everyone on the field, on the bench. This team is one of the most cohesive teams that I've been a part of. So super excited to see where we can go from here.
Even at the start of the year when results weren't always going the way, there was a little bit of like a fight and kind of a grit in this team. Is this team just kind of fighting right now? You literally have to fight for your playoff lives, I guess, in a lot of ways. So
we are one of the most resilient bunches. You can count us out, but somehow we'll still be kind of dangling around, hanging in that eighth, trying to get that 8th position. So, throughout this year, the one word I will say is we are a resilient group, and we are carrying that with us through every training session, every meeting that we have together, and every game day.
Sean Moran?
Yeah, Mandy, hey, congrats on the clean sheet and the win. You so much deserve it. So you've touched on this a little bit, but with the win tonight, you guys move up to 10th. You're 4 points behind Bay. Let's not talk about on the pitch. Let's not talk about in trainings, but in the locker room right now, what's the vibe like? How is this team like buzzing after all of this?
The vibe is great. I think it's like a free vibe. It's not too much pressure on ourselves, which is allowing us to have these performances like we're having, I think. And, we just keep saying, keep it alive as long as we can. It's a little flame, but we'll keep it going as long as we can. And it's getting stronger and stronger with each performance. So the vibe is immaculate, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Well, congrats, and that's awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, we got Jimmy. We'll go ahead and get started with Caleb.
First hat trick in team history. What did you see from Chloe today? What was going right, and what did that mean for you guys to get that?
I think I've seen what everyone has seen. I think she was amazing today. I think also in that second half we had a few opportunities to play forward towards her. I think we gave her the task during halftime to break the rhythm a bit more, to make sure that we kept dictating the pace of the game. I think we failed the first 20 minutes of the second half dictating the pace. We gave it a bit away, but then we took it back in our own hands. And I think what you saw from Chloe is what we see on a daily basis. I'm very happy for her as well that she can translate it. I think it was also a present for her to be able to play with Mina. Mina was checking in, Chloe was getting in behind, and I think that made a difference for her as well. Obviously, I think if you look at, I don't know if it's the second or the third goal where Mina checks in, she makes that run, that decoy run, we get space in behind. That's what Chloe is very good at, just reaching those spaces in behind. So overall, I think a great job, obviously. If you score 3 goals, shouldn't be complaining at all.
You kind of mentioned it a bit there, but this is the first game with a lot of that attacking group with Brecken, Mina, Chloe, Ali all together. From an attacking standpoint, 3 goals obviously. Maybe could have had more. What did you see that was going well with that group?
I think it's exciting. I think it's good to have players that can go in a 1v1 like Brecken and like Brecken and Ali. We have players that can create depth with Mina checking in, and then you have players that can use the depth with Chloe. So I think that's what we want to do. We want to be a very dynamic front 5. We want to make sure that we're players checking in, players reaching depth, and I think that's what we showed in the first 20, 30 minutes. And I think that's just a major part of how we want to play, make sure players are available, remain available. And if that means that they have to check in very low like Claudia was doing today, I'm happy with that. Like, those are the players that we want to get on the ball. And from that point on, everyone else needs to start moving around and then create chaos. And I think Seattle had really trouble in the first 20 minutes with just reacting on a lot of rotations that we made offensively. So I think that's what we wanted to do today.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Can I ask, with Brecken, was that a minutes restriction, or was there something else that you were seeing?
Brecken was supposed to play 45, so that was agreed upon before the game. I think if I would have been able to, I would have given her more. I just like her style of play, being that 1v1 player, dragging a player out, challenging her. That's what I like from players to do. So this was just a minute restriction, just making sure again that we end this season healthy and that we made right decisions. And yeah, if we can do it by winning 3-0, that's good. But if we have to lose just to keep players healthy, it's just a choice you have to make at this point.
And you've been in charge now as interim for 9 matches. What do you point at and say, they're listening to me? What the changes you see from the beginning of the field, beginning when you got here, now that you're the voice? What do you see that's going the way you want it to?
If they listened, we would have scored more in the second half. I think. I think just in general, I think upon my arrival, I said that I'm someone that loves to create a good organization, good defensive organization. And I think if you look at that back 4 and how Kayla and Kate are showing up every week, not making or barely making mistakes, I think that's a huge thing. But also if you look at the other side of the pitch, Ali today being able to press for 90 minutes, just pressing, just making sure they lost the ball in the attacking third. I think we had a few good regains in the attacking third, and I mean that's just the most important part, is just making sure that we adapt a few small things. But listening, I think we're here to give them a structure, and then it's up to them to use the structure and just enjoy the game. And I think I saw a few players like Tejada, Claudia Zarnoza today. They were really enjoying the game, receiving those balls from Mandy in the middle third, receiving, turning, moving forward again. I think Claudia pulled up a show. I think definitely Chloe scores 3 goals, but if you look at the assist from Claudia, if you look at how she was playing under the line to receive the ball and just remained very calm, and she was even upset when we were giving it away. She was just saying like, just playing around, we'll be fine. And I think that's what you expect from players, just to enjoy this game.
On that third goal, Claudia hit a pass that beat 5 players, and that was directly off a repress where we gave it away and immediately got it back. So I guess that leads me to some quotes we heard from you talking about wanting to have dogs on the pitch. And Chloe was in here earlier talking about killing a game off, where a lot of times you think a team is done and then they can come back on you if you take your foot off the gas. What do you take moving into Angel City next week as you try to continue this winning streak?
Obviously, it's difficult because you played a team that was down to 10, but I think if you look at minutes 74, 75, 76, just being able to press and keep on pressing, I think that's just difficult for every team you play against. I think even Kansas City, even other teams like if you look at the game that we played against Kansas City, we had a lot of regains in our attacking third because we were pressing, we were going. And I think that's just what we have to keep on working on, not only from a conditional point of view, but also from a game management point of view, like when do we press, when do we go out, when do we stay. Those are the points of recognition that we still need to grow with this group. But in general, I think if you look at the game that we have next week, I think we're very happy that we're still competitive. We have a lot to play for, not only looking at the playoffs, but also just looking behind us and making sure we do the right thing to keep teams behind us. I think it's a direct competition for a spot next week against LA again, and it was the same today. I think before the game we said that we were able to put Seattle 4 points behind. That's just what we wanted to do. So obviously that's what we want to do, remain competitive until the end of the season. I think the girls did it great today. I'm very happy. Thank you.
Yeah, congrats on the win, Coach. And I'm glad you mentioned Anna there in one of your last answers, because it looked like she was just an example out there of just players having fun on the pitch. She was smiling and laughing and running up and just congratulating her teammates and all of that. I saw that from a couple of players. How much fun is this team having right now? And are they happy that it feels like kind of results are starting to go with what you've been telling them, what you've been talking to them about training-wise, that sort of thing? Like, just how much fun are they having?
I mean, it's 90 in the weekend, and to get into the weekend, you have a good 400 minutes of training, approximately. And I think if those 90 minutes turn out well, then everyone's happy about the 400 minutes spent on the pitch, on a training pitch. So I think that is just what makes sense to them. And I think that's a very important part, that we are doing stuff on training, and I'm looking at the whole staff. We're doing stuff on training that matters to them, and it also makes a difference. I think collaboration, Claudia, Tejada, that's not just something that happens overnight. That's something they work a lot on practice. They do it together. They have extra drills. They get into practice together. We very often put them together because we know they need to understand each other. And I mean, that's what we have to do as a coaching staff. But then the way they just react under high pressure, I think I saw Anna a few times just receiving, put her foot on the ball, turning around and being able to play forward. I mean, that's a Spanish something, I think, or a Brazilian. You can have both. I think there are 2 countries in this world that do that kind of soccer, but I think that's just what we need to encourage them for. I'm a coach that wants to play from the back. I'm a coach that wants to break through the middle. Well, if you have those players that have the courage to do it, I'm happy for them to do it. I think Claudia as well. Each and every time she touches the ball, you know it's going to be dangerous. Either she'll give a good pass backwards, just making sure she clears someone else, or she can turn and she can be lethal as well. I think you saw that on the goal. Like Mina checking in again, creating that, 4 or 5 meter spot, and Claudia hits it just perfectly. So I think that's just very exciting to see. And obviously moving forward, I just want to encourage this team to keep on doing what they're doing at the minute, and just don't go too high on your highs, don't go too low on your lows. I think they've been very low. So at this point, we just have to find that sweet spot and just remain constant until the end of the season. Good.
Sean Moran, anything over the Zoom?
Yeah, please. Hey, Coach, congrats. I'm curious, first question, how many days off does Chloe get for scoring a hat trick?
She's got 36 hours and then we're training again. So that's also just part of, I think, that's actually a good question, but it's also just we have to give them continuity, and we just have to make sure they keep on showing up. And if we say that they cannot go too high on their highs, then we should just stick to the things that we're doing at the minute. And I think that's, few players were hinting like, oh, it's an extra day off, are we getting anything extra? But I think it's just keep the balance, just make sure we show up on Tuesday again, and Tuesday will be slightly different than normally. We'll do a few fun stuff. We'll make sure everyone has a good recovery. But then again, on Sunday, we have to be there again. So we have 2 games left, 180 minutes, and that's all we have this season so far, and then we'll see what happens in the postseason. But I think those 180 minutes is what we said against the group as well. They have to define, or they have to make sure that there is a crowd next season coming at our home games and showing up every week. And I think that's what we want them to give, a reason to show up next week. And I mean, that's up to us. That's how much energy you give on the pitch, how much you want to win. And I think this team is wanting to win a lot lately.
This will be a little bit repetitive, but I am very curious. We just heard from Mandy previous to your coming into the room that the vibe in the locker room is immaculate right now, that the women are buzzing off of this win and sitting in 10th place and this potential of a playoff spot. I'm curious, and please, we've heard you say a couple of times, don't get too high on your highs, but does your Belgian DNA, your coaching DNA, does it allow you to get excited for a potential playoff spot? Just what are your personal feelings right now? Peel it back.
The aim is the playoffs. We're not going to hide that. The aim is the playoffs, but the only way to get to the playoffs is win the next game. And I think that's just how we work at this moment. Like, we're just looking to next week Sunday, and then we'll see. But obviously, we've put the goal on the playoff spot, or at least as close as possible. So that's just remaining competitive every week. I think my coaching DNA of the last few years is, I think if we look at what we did back at home, we won a lot of games, but in the end, it was that one game that you lose, or the 2 games that you lose in a season, that made the difference. So that's also why we're very calm as a staff as well. I think that's my influence on the staff, just remaining very calm and just providing a good structure for everyone to keep on performing, because a win is very, very, very fast forgetting about the next week if you lose. So that's just something we all have to bear into our minds, and just make sure that, again, that we show up. We have to give them the energy that we would like the players to give us. And I think the staff is doing great at the minute. We're making sure that everyone is doing well. We give them fun on practice where we can, but also I think if you look at those Thursday's trainings or the Matchday -2 trainings, like how the team absorbs all the information that we give them, I think we have 2 very good analysts that dive into a lot of details of games when it comes to knowing how we'll do, how will she move, how can we get Ellie free if she's doing this, like all those details, like they absorb it. I saw Ellie doing a lot of stuff today that came straight from the training ground, and that's partly because of what the staff is doing, but also just because the players want to buy into it and they believe in it. And I think if that belief is there, then we should still aim for those playoffs.
One last question for you. I know you have a lot of celebrating to do, but we've talked about this a little bit before. You mentioned it a little bit this afternoon, but it's worth repeating, especially after a hat trick. What is it that makes Chloe such a special player?
Humbleness. I think I'm 100% sure that you saw it in her interview as well. She will definitely not go too high on her highs. She's just very, very calm. She's very composed. She knows that, again, a hat trick today doesn't mean a win next week, and I think that's what she will be chasing this week. She goes to international camp the week after, so I think she's very humble. She's here to create a better group of players. I think the way she was coaching Po as well, making decisions, making sure Po was making the right decisions, offering options whenever she wasn't making the right decisions or other players weren't making the right decisions. I think that's very important. I remember something that she said last week on our press, and obviously we're pressing high, so we give away a few spaces on the pitch. And she said against Po, like, well, you know what, whenever it happens, don't step out. I'll make sure I have a high-speed run just to make sure I get back in position rather than you stepping out of your position because I made a mistake. I think that's just how she is. She wants to show up for the team. She had a difficult time last season, she said so. So she's here to enjoy the game, and I think she's doing it to the fullest at the minute.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jimmy.
Good evening.